India and the US have started blowing hot and cold at each other. They are bickering over a lot of issues, and yet the two countries need each other more than ever before. We have disagreed on the WTO at the Buenos Aires and blamed each other for the failure of the Buenos Aires ministerial, and now at the UN, India and US have voted on two different sides against each other on the Jerusalem vote. Now we have with us to discuss this Anilesh Mahajan, who covers strategic affairs for us at Business Today. Anilesh, the US vote in the US discussion in WTO, we had a fight. We have a fight now. We are on opposite sides of the table on the Jerusalem vote. We do not agree with each other on the visa issue. We do not agree with each other on e-commerce. We do not agree with each other on multilateral, multi-brand retail. There are a lot of issues on which the US is applying pressure on India, and India is trying to ensure that its national interest is paramount. Where is this relationship headed in your view?
Rajiv, we need to understand, fortunately or unfortunately, both in India and US, we have nationalist governments. In India, we have a liberal nationalist in terms of Narendra Modi, and ultra nationalist as in Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So both these leaders are putting their national interests first. So US for all those reasons, they are pushing us to agree on certain issues in WTO, which India, because of its nationalistic approach, they refused to adhere, and those talks collapsed. And now there is a threat which the Commerce Minister is also agreeing, that there is a existence issue for
essential dilemma.
Yeah, so there is a dilemma which WTO is going through.
Yeah.
And yesterday we have seen, which surprised many of the nationalists,
yes,
because not only because of the US but because of Israel.
Yeah.
Because India has bridged its relationship with Israel in last 3 years.
And we reached out to him. The PM went there.
Yeah, and he spoke in Hindi with Narendra Modi.
Correct.
So this surprised many, because we could have continued our friendship with our messaging with.
And we voted with Pakistan.
We voted with Pakistan. We could have easily abstained.
Correct.
From voting.
Yes.
We could have maintained our relationship with Israel.
Yeah.
But more interestingly, yesterday when Nikki Haley came to UN
yeah,
and spoke the American side of story,
yeah,
and she was very fearsome, and she spoke that we will take this very seriously, and we will remember whosoever have insulted us. So whether this will include India or not, or is it intended towards the Islamic republics who voted
against the US,
that needs to be seen in days to come.
And then, of course, Anilesh, we do not agree on the e-commerce policies. We do not agree on e-commerce imports. We do not agree on e-commerce trade, and we do not agree on e-commerce transactions and taxation. So what are the critical areas in which we disagree on e-commerce? What is it that US is pressurizing us on?
See, US's proposal for e-commerce contains that we need to discuss various issues. That also include issues which are not in the ambit of WTO, like investment facilitation. And there are issues where we have already settled to a solution in the previous rounds of WTO negotiation. That includes tariff and non-tariff issue, that includes goods movement, that includes IPR, that includes several other issues. And then there are issues like services which are in the consultation mode. So this is called as mother of all discussions, precisely because of these reasons.
Correct.
Because whatever we have achieved in 20 years, we need to rediscuss. And India is not keen on it. India is saying that our e-commerce companies are in very nascent stage, and whenever this issue will mature, we will discuss at that time.
And then, of course, there's multi-brand, where again we do not agree. Yeah. Multi-brand retail, where they are pushing us to open up multi-brand retail for American companies specifically, but international companies in general. So what is our stand? Why is it that we do not want it?
See, this is one of the core promises of Bharatiya Janata Party, the ruling party here in India, where they say that FDI in multi-brand retails will not be allowed because the traders, which is a large constituent of their core voter base, they feel that this will erode their business. And there are studies which being conducted in various developed economies as well. Whenever a multi-brand retail like Walmart or Metro or Costco's, they come to any jurisdiction, it impacts the mom and pop shops. So that's why you might have seen in US most of the Walmarts and these cash and carry models, they are outside the city jurisdictions. So this is one of the major concerns which India has, but this also comes up with a great advantage that these companies will invest in the back end mechanism. Now we have GST in place, so logistic movement is much easier now in India. So they can set up cold storages, they can set up the other storages units, so they can invest there. So there is a checks and balances which are required. So that's why in the last budget Arun Jaitley announced that India will allow with certain conditions multi-brand retail, but they don't want to go further on that. So they asked that if somebody who sells 100% Indian manufactured food products, they'll be allowed to sell they will be allowed multi-brand FDI in multi-brand retail. But these companies say that foods and beverages, they don't give you margins.
Correct.
So they are not keen. So they want 20% additional of the healthcare and other products.
And then there are disagreements on pharma, where again the US FDA has been after Indian pharma companies where they have not, they do not comply with US FDA standards, and they have been giving warnings to a lot of Indian manufacturers. But finally, there is going to be a huge impact of the tax reduction that the US president has announced for corporates and individuals, and that's going to lead to a flight of capital back into the US, because US is now going to get more attractive as an investment destination, and that has a huge bearing on India as well. So that's where we leave you for food for thought. India and US, where the two of us agree and where mostly we disagree. Thank you for watching. See you later.